Welcome to a new episode of Kaynichole After Dark. Hope y'all are doing well. This evening, coming to y'all. Okay, so let me get into my first sip of the evening, and then we can get into it. What's up? What's been up with me? I've been working. That's what's been going on with me. Just been working my ass off. And hey, Jonathan. Hope everything's going well with you. Everything's been awesome. School is starting for a lot of people. Going back to school, college, all that good stuff. So hope people are ready for the craziness that's about to begin as the school year starts. So good luck to y'all, our parents, and, having to be a part of that world. So, just quick housekeeping. I've been asked if we are still looking for performers for Lingerie is Fashion. If you do want to perform, just DM me. Let me know what your skill set is, what you would like to do for Lingerie is Fashion, and we will make it happen. Okay. Just let me know that if you are interested in performing, because I know a lot of people have been reaching out to me and wanting to perform. So if you're interested in doing that, you can DM me. So I recently was watching a fellow Instagrammer. Now, he's a famous Instagrammer, and he goes by I Am the Truth Hurts. Right? You probably follow him. He talks about relationships and things of that nature as well. Well, he was recently talking about dating out of your attractive class, basically. Like, if you're not attracted to them, why are you dating them? Right? And I had to think about that, because the reason why he gave it, he's like, oh, so if a person, and it's true. One of the reasons why a person is going to basically date somebody that they're not attracted to is because they have been hurt, more often by those that they are attracted to. So they're like, okay, let me give it a try of dating someone that I'm not necessarily sexually attracted to. Now, I don't feel that that's wrong in getting to know other people that you're not necessarily sexually attracted to. But if you really plan on going into a relationship and going to see this long term, it doesn't make sense. And the reason why he was given I Am the Truth Hurts was well, if they play you, and you would be like, well, I wasn't attracted to your ass anyway, and everything like that, to turn into a toxic thing. And I genuinely wouldn't necessarily say that they could potentially play you and you're like, oh my goodness, I got played by an unattractive person, or a person I wouldn't even really fuck, or whatever, stuff like that. I think it has more to do with the fact that it's not going to go anywhere. Dating and talking to somebody that you're not physically attracted to is going to be a waste of energy. And you're going to put them in the friend zone. You're just going to friend zone them. And I just feel that it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It doesn't make sense to do it. Date people that you are attracted to. Date people that you want to be around, because in the end, you dating a girl that you're not attracted to, or a guy that you're not attracted to, it's just going to end in heartbreak, because they are clearly attracted to you. You're clearly the bee's knees to them, and they're sexually attracted to you and want to be with you and up underneath you. But if that's not even your goal, that's not even your mission, then you're going to be wasting their time. And they're going to be trying to meet an expectation that they're never going to. And it's like, why have somebody skate uphill if they don't necessarily have to. And so so when I Am the Truth Hurts made a statement like that about how, you don't want to be played by somebody that you're not attracted to. I don't think it has to do really with being played by somebody you're attracted to. I just think that overall it's just wasting of time, because you're not going to give them the attention. You're not going to, your love language that might be heavy in a particular way, you're not going to show that. You're not going to show, like, for instance, a lot of people are touchy-feely when they see somebody that they like, right? They put their hands on them, they touch them, they doing all that kind of stuff. Now, I know somebody, right, that love language is all about touching and feeling, and that's their primary, right? But if a person's not attracted to them, then they're not going to feed into their love language, right? And so that person's going to constantly feel like they aren't getting the love, they aren't getting their cup filled, they're not getting their things, their wants or needs met, because you decided to take them on because you didn't want to be hurt by somebody that you were attracted to many years and stuff like that. Yeah, you can get attracted, you can find your type. Doesn't mean that you have to go out of your bracket and date somebody. What the hell? Okay, I'm going to kill my battery that way. So I'm saying JC had said something. So exactly, it's a waste of time on both ends. Settling will just make the person unhappy. Correct. I can't say any clearer than that, JC. Like, it's gonna be a waste of time. It's going to make a person unhappy, and it's going to also make a person resentful. And it's going to make a person resentful. And in this day and age, there are too many people in this world that you can find someone that you're attracted to that's going to treat you right. A lot of people feel like, oh, well, I was hurt by this sexy woman, or I was hurt by this sexy man, so I'm going to date someone that I'm not as attracted to so they can't hurt me. And that's clearly just a trauma response. Love sex change says it's subjective. I believe that consent is important, even if it's one's I'm going to say love language, because some of us have reservations about touching, etc., etc. Oh no, I get that. But what I'm saying, maybe you caught it at the end, but what I was saying is that if you date somebody, right, that you're not physically attracted to, the love languages that you have that might be primary are not going to show up in that relationship, because you're not necessarily attracted to them. So if you are a touchy-feely person and you're not attracted to that person, you're not going to give them that same energy. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's pointless to date somebody and not be able to feed into each other. It just doesn't make any sense. Yes, I'm wearing two different, I couldn't find anything that matched this, so we're just putting on a regular bra. So, yeah, this is the look for tonight with my lock sprinkles. So that's basically what I'm saying on that end, is that when people date someone that they're not really attracted to, they're not giving 100%. And I feel like even if you're hurt, you need to take the time away and heal, rather than saying, I'm going to start dating this type of person, or I'm going to date less attractive than me, or whatever case might be. Because in your heart, that's not what you want. It's what you're settling for, because you're afraid of being hurt continuously. And in this day and age, I get it, but we can't be living in a state of fear. You can't be worried that, you're constantly going to be played, or you're constantly going to be hurt. Like, that's what life is about. It's about taking leaps. taking bounds, jumping in. So, I mean, you have to take chances with love. You got to take chances with love. And playing it safe with love is not going to work. You can't play it safe with love. Love is messy. Love is it can be very messy at times. So I strongly believe that it's a waste of both parties' times, mainly for the individual that engages more or initiated it, because being single is very important to learn about ourselves first. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you completely, on that point. So, and I honestly feel that being single gets you a chance to truly know yourself. And I know that in this world, codependency is a really big thing. And you just have to do your best to try to, fight against it. Go to therapy, do what you need to do. But in this world, in this society, we can be very codependent. So it is important to know how to deal with situations that are lackluster in that arena. Finding an equal that you are attracted to. Like I'm just saying, find someone that you can build with and not move in fear. Hey, Fave Master, how are you doing? I hope the week is treating you well. So yeah, date what you're attracted to. Don't date fearfully, because you're going to mess up that person and mess up yourself, because you realize that's not really what you want. And you've hurt that person. They didn't have to go through that trauma. That was unnecessary trauma for them, because you didn't have to play with their emotions, And that's, again, like, we need to be honest with ourselves and with others. Let me see. Love sections. I agree with what you're saying. However, it's sad to see how people approach dating and or wanting to be involved nowadays. I agree with you. It's crazy out here, and that's why I kind of have this channel, and talk about such subject matter, because I realize that a lot of people are giving misinformation out here. A lot of people are listening to bad information. And a lot of people are moving in trauma. And so it's easy to give information that sounds good. Like, it sounds good. Like, oh yeah, date somebody that you're not necessarily attracted to, so that you can, you could learn from that person, build with that person, and everything like that, because it's not all about looks. Like, yeah, that makes sense. It's not all about looks, but you do want to date somebody and be with somebody that you are physically attracted to. Otherwise, it's just going to be like you having a best friend, or you're just having companionship. But the thing is, a lot of us look for intimacy within these relationships. And there's different levels of intimacy, but the intimacy I'm talking about is definitely hand-holding, touching, feeling up each other, intercourse, and you don't want, why date somebody and have sex with someone else that you're attracted to? It doesn't make any sense. It affects your esteem, affects your soul. It has, like I said, I talk about soul ties, and you're going to build a soul tie, or basically a connection with somebody that you're attracted to, but you would never have a relationship with, because you're dating this person that you're not attracted to, but they make you feel safe. Hey, Ange. Hey, beautiful. How are you doing? How's everything with you? Let me look at this. Legend says you're speaking nothing but the truth, sis. Thank you so much for having this live. Thank you. Thank you for being in attendance. I appreciate it. I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. Oh, cuz Cartel. We have nothing but love for you. I haven't forgotten about you. I definitely want to eventually link up. Definitely. I mean, Philly is just like a hop and a skip away, so nope. As are you, girl. As are you. I be seeing you doing your thing, your little reels and stuff like that. I be loving it. So keep doing the damn thing. Keep doing the damn thing. I'm so proud of my girls and seeing how they're, they're developing their craft. But that's another thing all entirely. But yeah, when it comes to dating, when it comes to finding the person that you want to spend time with, date somebody. Like it sounds crazy because it's like, well, of course I want to date somebody I'm attracted to, but you'd be surprised how many hurt people are dating people that they're not attracted to because they want to keep themselves safe and sheltered. Which actually leads me to the next conversation, because I'm not going to stay too long on that. Let me see. Love sex change, so I appreciate this. And yes, there's a lot of BS out here that's sweet to the ear and heart, that's dressed up as misleading without being raw in a nice way. Completely true. You're an icon. You inspire me. Oh, thank you, Ange. We inspire each other, because I totally loved your I think it was the mermaid shoot, and I definitely want to do a mermaid shoot myself. So we inspire each other. It's definitely a thing. It's so hard to detach once you really invested your heart. It is. It is. Okay, well, thank you. Love from New York. So yeah, we want to pour into the right person, and that does start with, having mental values, but of course, you want to be attracted to that person. Okay, that'd be great. Definitely. Then, the next thing I want to talk about, which is, thank you so much for all the fire signs and everything like that. Appreciate you. That there's been a viral video about Cam Newton and Nick Cannon, and saying how they are destroying, I guess, the face of black men and everything like that, because they just want to produce children. Okay, and they don't want to get married. Now, I'm coming from a person that hasn't watched any podcasts about it, don't really have any knowledge of it. I do know that Nick Cannon has a lot of kids. I know that Cam has a lot of kids. I didn't know that neither of them were planning on ever getting married again, but I could care less about that. But they were saying how they're doing terrible for the culture because they're not encouraging black marriages, and they just want to have a bunch of kids all over the place, right? Now, like I said, I've never seen any of the interviews with Nick Cannon and with Cam Newton. However, what I will say in regarding this fact is that in my last Kaynichole After Dark, I talked about what the woman's gift to a man was, and that is the birth of her child, right? Like, having his seed is the greatest testament of her love for this man, right? On the flip side, okay, once she has that baby, the man's job, okay, the greatest gift he can give once this baby has been born and everything like that, is the gift of being a covering, okay? And a covering is mainly meaning that he is going to provide safety into this household, okay? And you can't properly cover any of your children or the mothers of your children if you're not in that household. That is my point on that. Okay, you cannot successfully manage your children without, let me straighten this out right here. Without being there, and they're not actively in their children's lives. Their children are in other states, different schedules and stuff like that. You cannot be a proper protector, a proper leader, and not be in the household. It doesn't make any sense. And Samado says facts. I'm kidding. no, we get it. You can't be there. And so for them to say, I want to produce children and not be in their lives on a everyday basis, is you're doing them a disservice. So though I did not watch, the interviews for Cam or Nick Cannon, what I can say is that the gift that they've been given is to have a child by a woman that cares about them. Clearly, these women have cared about them or cared about their money. Either way, something, they decided to have his kid, Not just one woman, but multiple women decided to have their children, even though they saw they weren't being taken care of in other households. Because the only household that he was really in, as far as Nick Cannon, was Mariah Carey's. And I feel that once that relationship deteriorated, he kind of lost his mind and was just like, let me just fuck everything that's out here. That's with 2 legs out of a JJ. Let me just have a seed. And he just lost his damn mind, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you so much for the badge. But what he's missing is the fact that you need to be there. Yes, you can produce as many children as you want. Abraham did his thing. But in this day and age, children require more than just money. And that's all that Nick and Cam can really throw at them if they're not there on a continuous basis. Like I said to y'all, that kids are getting ready for school. The first day of school is a big time for a lot of people, for a lot of kids, having picture day. He's not able to attend all of his children's first days of school. That alone, that's like the precipice of how you start off your year, right? Because they start off the year well and you'll end the year well, right? So that he's already deteriorating that. And to have 5 kids in different homes and everything like that, you're just leaving your quote unquote family susceptible to any kind of take it back in the day, right? Women weren't able to have property. We were if a woman at home alone was considered we could rob her ass and take everything she's got and there'd be no repercussions because there's not a man at home. Go back to those times and then bring it kind of today. And it's still necessary, especially with kids. Children need to be minded. Especially in this day and age, they get into everything. There's kids that are smoking vapes at 12 and 13. What are they doing? There are now, I'm a grown-ass woman, okay? I go to the European Wax Center and I get myself waxed and everything. Do you know that these young girls, are getting landing strips and stuff like that? You barely have hair on those pubes and you're getting landing strips and stuff like that. They're not just raising just boys. They're raising girls too. And you have to be mindful that you need to protect your family. And you're not being able to protect anything if you're not there. And that's just so you're just having children for the sake of having children that are going to be confused and be lost in this world and not have a good sense of self and kind of be lacking. I'm not going to lie, your kids are going to be lacking because you're already not there. You're not going to see you on a continuous basis about the love. You have to nourish. Her love, the woman's love, can only give so much to a child because she carried him. She carried him or her. So that love's already there. It's now the outsider, who's the father, that needs to pick up what's left over. So you have to have a covering. And that he's not being a proper covering, neither Cam or Nick. And that is what the issue is. And I find that to be my personal issue with any man that is not taking care of his family. He doesn't have to physically be there and, live with the woman anymore, but he got to make sure that his child is being well taken care of. That the mother of his child is being well taken care of. And I know that that's not going to get too much love and everything like that, but that's what it is. And that is part of the reason why I don't want to be with a man that has kids with another woman, because I know he's going to have to take care of her. He's going to have to make sure she's straight until she finds a man that's going to make sure she's straight. She's going to be looking at mines to make sure she's straight. So yeah, that's why we don't know. Because I'd have to share, because it's his responsibility to take care of that household. So if she's calling and everything like that about Pampers and stuff like that, it's part of our household. If he's married to me, part of our household to make sure she's straight. So how are you going to do that if you have an 8 and 9 and 10, 11, 12 different families? People can barely do it with one. I hear so many stories about people that have parents that are divorced or split up or whatever, and they barely see their parent once that separation has occurred. Angel says, if you're an inconsistent parent, it never really works for the child. Though in the long run, they need consistent roles. Amen to that. Amen to that. Sex Change says that part, because you're just the baby maker, which serves no real meaningful purpose other than creating an atmosphere to extend a family name. Exactly. It says your mic is running against something that sounds like a TV scratching. Oh, okay. I'll put that. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. Appreciate you. Hopefully that works a little bit better. JC says they're having kids for recreation at that point because all of these kids losing out by not constantly getting the joint support of their parents day in and day out. Preaching Queen. Thanks, Ange. Says Injustices Facts. Money is just one fraction of what children need to grow and be nurtured. That boy JC says can't be in multiple places at once, especially when they all live in different states. Amen. Like, how is that even happening? Fix your mind, I think your locks are rubbing against it. Oh, thank you again. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yes, and I'm like an absent parent. Angel says kids shouldn't have to reparent themselves. It's messed up. They always got to heal on their own and try to break the toxic cycles. Yes. I agree with you. Double facts. I have an inconsistent mother, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to hear that. It definitely affects us as adults. Having certain parents. My father was, even though he took care of us financially, and I got to see him and everything like that, he didn't treat women as if they were valuable. He often treated women as if they were disposable or they were just playthings. And that did affect how I saw myself, how I saw other women, even how I saw my dad, And I was able to talk those things out with him later on in life and stuff, but not everybody has those opportunities, to be able to reflect on their parents' behavior and realize that, their parents are human. Because at the end of the day, yes, there are moms and our dads, but they were a person before we even came here. And so we have to kind of understand that. And that does not give them a pass in any form or fashion, Ange. I'm not giving anybody a pass. I'm just saying that we have to see them as a full person. And sometimes it can be difficult because they're our parents and it's like, I didn't ask to be here. But in their own stuff, they're still learning and growing. And so we have to have grace with our parents as well. Jesus, right? This is a wild, powerful. Thank you for sharing. Love 16 says, hun, I will definitely check in with you again, hun. Your headspace is exactly what people need instead of the trash that's out here. So then have a blessed evening, great weekend. You as well. You as well. Take care. I'm sorry, I'm just reading this now. But thank you for joining and being a part. Ismail says, my mom puts men before me and always has, and that affects me how I view men. Definitely, definitely, it affects us, you know. And so, how our parents' behavior, whether it be selfish or however they see it, it affects another person. And again, it affects the child. And yes, the mom can say, I can handle everything on my own or whatever, stuff like that. But again, it's not about her. It's about the child. And it's always going to affect the child. And so it doesn't pay. I mean, it might, like I said, I understand that people want their names to grow, that, you know, there has been this weirdness because we have all these different speakers for the Black community, right? That there's no main voice, right? We all have a whole bunch of different voices. There's not one set voice that we all come together and say, like, this is the voice that we all agree with, that we all want to hear from. So we have all different things in the Black community. Spread your seed, have as many kids. Some say marry, all of these different ways of thought, right? As far as how we should conduct ourselves in our community. And at the end of the day, it is about the future. Like they say, the children are our future. So we got to protect them. We got to make sure that they're safe. So it's not about what I want. And that's, at the end of the day, we really have to. And I know that a lot, and it's hard because kids are having kids. And it's hard to take away that selfish nature, at that. But then you gotta, because you have to take away, and then you not able to do certain things at a certain age makes you selfish when you get older. Because I know I've seen them where they raised their kids and nobody helped them. So at 40, they're like, no, I'm not watching nobody's kids. I'm not watching your children. I already raised you. I'm not watching your kids. Like, and it becomes that mentality instead of like, grandma's supposed to help out and everything like that. But because of trauma, because of so many things have happened in our communities, our sense of community has been lost. Like, it really has been. So, and Cam and Nick are taking full on advantage of the fact of the chaos. They're not agents of chaos, maybe, but they're definitely taking advantage of it. So I encourage us as a people, whether you're a man or a woman, know why you want to bring life into this world. Have a plan of why you're bringing life into this world. Like I said in my previous Kaynichole After Dark, a woman's gift is to bring life and give that man a child. That man's gift to that woman is to make sure she is well taken care of, and so is that child. That they are safely covered and protected. It can't have one without the other. And for that reason, the vitality, the percentage of growth, if we were dealing with like animals and stuff like that, it'd be the survival of the fittest. So if you didn't have a proper covering and proper, love of your parent, you're going to die. So it's basically the same thing as a human being. Like, you are not going to be successful in life. There are going to be a lot of hindrances because you're unable to navigate the world around you because you haven't been given the tools. And the thing is, then you got to say to yourself, okay, I can only blame my parents so much. So now I got to build the tools myself. And there's so many people nowadays that are in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s that are trying to make their own freaking tools. When there were people there that had it. They just didn't want to be around to give it up, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I can't with the bullshit. I can't. So I heard. Let me see. Angela says, I feel like she just wants me to like have social media recognition, but doesn't really put in the work to make our daughter relationship work. So it's very controlling in a sense. I mean, if you want to talk about that off camera, because I don't want you to share too much, because I am going to read everything. So, I mean, I don't, if you want to talk about it offline, I'm more than happy and willing to talk to you about it offline, about your relationship with your mom. And I know that can be very hard because, when a woman's relationship with her mother is just like it's complicated, but it's different, and it's something they're really having to navigate. You're so well spoken. Love listening to these talks. They need to be hard to be had, especially in this uncommunicative generation. Thank you, and I appreciate that. I feel like I would do better if I had cue cards and had everything scripted, which I don't, but I'm speaking from my heart. So I appreciate that. So thank you. But people are moving in fear. Someone told me that Nick Cannon was saying that, men prey on women, Prey. Nobody should be preying on anyone, first of all. And that just also shows a mindset that it's a selfish nature. It has nothing to do with the woman or wanting to have a potential family. It's the own selfish nature of how many women I can get pregnant, how many women I can have trust me that I'm going to be different. Because at the end of the day, these girls are under the impression that it's going to be different because no person in their right mind wants a child that's going to be neglected. Doesn't matter how much money is around, they are going to realize once they've had a child, because it's different for a woman. We hold the child, we carry the child for 9 months. You feel it moving inside of you. You feel, indigestion. You have all these things when it comes to the baby. And a man doesn't necessarily have to go through that. And that's why, it's important for your child to kind of look like the father, so that's part of the maturation part of it too, because it was if your child didn't look like the father, he was more than likely less likely to take care of it. And that's the same thing with animals. If they feel that's not theirs, they're not going to take care of it. They're just going to look at it and just hope that it just dies. Seriously, they're just just die. Just go away so I don't have to feed you anymore. So that so it's mama's baby, daddy's maybe. It's always been that kind of mentality, right? So it's important that a man forge that relationship with his children. That's why I was part of that's why it was always so important. That the daddy looked like this child or whatever and stuff like that, because that was part of the bonding process. A man did not want to bond with a child that did not look like him. So there's all these different setups and all these other social norms and stuff that we've had that, is part of biology, that's part of society, that's part of classism, because again, had he been regular Joe Schmo, Nick Cannon would not be able to produce as many kids as he has. It's because of his money that women are more susceptible to the bullshit. But if he had been Nick Cannon down the block that worked at Safeway or at the local gas station, he might not be able to sling dick the way he been slinging dick. you know? So that's it too. So it's just, so all those factors have taken place in how people have constructed how they're bringing up families. Again, people can do what they want. You have the freedom. That's why we live in America. You have the freedom to do what you want. But the knowledge of it is that you want to have the best success rate for your child. And that's for everything to be under one roof or having close proximity. That's why people like Mormons and stuff like that do it. That's why they live on compounds, because everybody needs to be in one place. He's using his money to prey on women, essentially. Yeah, basically. Because, they look at the green, they think about what he can do for them, or this and third, or how he can help. And it's a naive person that just thinks that a baby can survive on money. And that's why people will be like, oh, child support and this, that, and the third. It's so much more than that. And I think that as a society, we function. We are a capitalist society. So the first thing we think about is, oh, I'm going to go after his pockets. Yeah, but your child needs much more than money. Your child needs values. Your child needs to be constantly reared and raised up, not drug up. And so that's just mine. I'm going to go on that note. I'm just saying that be mindful about the choices that you make when dating. Like I said, don't waste your time in dating people that you're not necessarily attracted to. That's a waste of time. You might be hurt. Heal yourself and date people that you're attracted to. Do not have that fear. And men and women that are sexually active, be mindful. Do you know the consequences of not properly wrapping it up? And if you are going to bring a child into this world, understand the reasons why, and really understand what task you have been given as a parent. So take care. Thank you for tuning in to Kaynichole After Dark. I'll be in touch. I hope you do the same. And of course, and above all, always keep your crown straight.